All right, so setting up a client account with Klaviyo. So if it's from complete scratch, we're going to hit the sign up button, enter the info here that they provided, and hit create account. But I've already done this part, so we'll skip one step. I'll go ahead and log in. It's going to ask me for that, so let me pause for a sec while I heard the code, and it let me in. So this is the beginning. Before we get started, I want to show you all the pre-work that should have been done. So we've got the document that walks through all the different steps, right? There's lots of steps here. You should have that available to you. Definitely want to go through this before setting up an account, right? Lots of good examples and lots of good info. It seems like a lot, but if you think about it, it's not really that much because there's a lot of just like one-off kind of things like credit card information, organization address, right? Organization name, really simple. Just steps to follow, just laid it out in super ad nauseum detail, but it burns through pretty quick. You finish it pretty quickly. It's just nice to have everything there so you don't have to worry about, did I forget that step? Did I not? So another thing we've done is set up on the onboarding project in Asana. So it's these same things, but just laid out into a checklist. So we've got two different ones. There's the onboarding, and this is kind of hard to see. So I'm going to make this show these as incomplete. So as I was filling them out and getting this done, I was marking them complete. So we're going to mark them as, oops. So we're going to mark them as incompleted so that they'll be easier to see because they're kind of grayed out right now and small. So we're going to mark them incomplete. There. Now this view is not going to show them to me anymore because this is only completed tasks. So we'll look for incompleted tasks. All right, now we've got those tasks here as incomplete. So now they're easier to see. So it's the same tasks you see in document one, getting the organization name, organization address, all of that is here. And we'll be able to copy and paste them more easily. So I like having that set up in advance so that when we actually get to work and we're actually going through the onboarding over here on the Klaviyo site, we don't have to keep going back and forth looking for the information. Okay, it's all just right there for us. So we'll go ahead and get started. E-commerce site, Shopify, URL is Opulence MD. Yep, there it is. I'm going to connect that account. Other thing I like to have open, I like to have the actual Shopify account open in Facebook Ads Manager as well as Facebook Audiences. We're going to need those. So we're connecting. All right, it's finalizing the connection. And what this is going to start doing is pulling in customer data. And that's the best part about Klaviyo. It's very tightly integrated with Shopify with your customer data. Whereas the others are all about emails and the emails you have and pop-ups and sign-ups. Like they're not as much e-commerce focused. Like this account is coming over from ActiveCampaign, so nowhere near as good as handling e-commerce information. So this is just some stuff for Klaviyo, selling online annually, decent sized brand, and this is where it helps to have the info, right? Already handy, ready to go. If it'll copy that, paste it. Nevada. And 107. And we want Anika. Reply to email addresses here. Okay, so we're going to continue on. Now that it's entered, it's got the logos in already. We're going to pick this one. Pulled it from the Shopify store. Gotta love that. So that'll help. If not, you can just add your files here, browse and add it. So we're going to continue on, and it's going to automatically start building our emails for us with our logo at the top on a bunch of the templates and the text that we want and the color schemes we want, as well as the social media stuff down there. So luckily we have got this already set up. So we did the reply to, oops, there it was. I did have the from name. So I want to go back and change this, sender name, Dr. Anika. And thank you to Dr. Anika for being gracious enough to let us use this as a training teaching tool. So we're going to go to choices. So remember, I pulled this in advance from Shopify store. You can go to your themes, customize, theme settings. Usually it's in theme settings or something like that, and in here you'll see all the different colors that you're able to choose from. I'm going to leave that page because I don't want those changes saved. Alright, didn't get those saved, which is good. Double checking real quick. Now we'll come back to this and make sure our color schemes are dead on. So we have our theme color choices from there, which I already pulled. So just decided to start over. How did I do that? I just went and hit refresh. It reset all the colors so I can start again. So now that I got my colors straight, I'm going to take the text, add that in for the body text, right? That's that shade of black that we want. For the accent, I want this color for my header bar as well as for my button. And I'm going to keep the links the same shade of blue. Font family, we pulled that also. So these are the theme color choices done. Font is Georgia. There it is. These are web safe fonts, so you can't use every font. So you may be looking to see, hey, I want this specific font, but this is all they got. It's very limited. They only recently did custom fonts get adopted, so you're not going to probably have what you're looking for. But this one we found because the client already had a email service provider, ActiveCampaign, so we were able to pull from what they already had. So let's continue. Now it's a little bit tedious. We're going to do some plugging and chugging here. We're going to pull their social media accounts and their web links that will go into the emails at the top here. Right now it's only got shop now. But luckily we pulled all this already. So for the home page, we're going to pull Opulence Beauty. This is going to be home. It's going to be shop. This one is going to be about us. And then what's new. And these are helpful, just giving people more options to click on things to get taken to your site. In case your one call to action down here isn't enough for them, they have other options here. And luckily, actually it pulled them all in for us, but we were ready, just in case. So links to sites down, links to social accounts we can verify, trust but verify, Instagram, Opulent Lash Life, yep, that's good, Pinterest, Opulent Lash Life _ shop, that concerns me, so I'm going to redo it. Luckily we had it ready. There we go. Instagram was good. Twitter, the Twitter. Opulent Lash Life looks good. and then Facebook. Copy that last slide. Good. So almost completely done here with the getting started. I had some trouble because I didn't actually get the right email, but this is the correct email. So what I had to go do is update email, put it back in. So if that happens, just go ahead. I just put the exact same email back in and it finally sent it. So I'm going to confirm my email now. And we're all set. This is good news. Here we go. So let's hit let's go. And one thing while we're transitioning to the main Klaviyo interface, I want to show another email had come in, and this is a lot of great info, right? So what do you do next? They send you some stuff to help you with your account, some background, setting up a sign-up form. We're going to do that together so you can use this as a reference, getting a welcome series going, segmenting your customers. And also, if you want some more info on definitions, click on this link. There's some great background info on what listen segments are, what the profile types are. Just it's less than an hour, and I'm pretty sure you can do 2x speed, so it's pretty fast. So good background info if you need it. All right. So one of the key things we're past the basic of the basic integration. So what you'll see on the left, let me orient you. You'll see that what a lot has been done already, and we came straight to the dashboard where there's a bunch of objectives, and these are super helpful in case you forget, like you don't have this or you don't have the document right in front of you and you're trying to figure out what should I do next. Klaviyo has provided a really good kind of handy dandy checklist, right? Set up your abandoned cart reminders, create a sign up form, start welcoming new subscribers, the welcome series, right? Move over your old email platform. So basically your contacts, which we'll be uploading, right? Upload your existing list of email subscribers, create a segment, send your first campaign, and set up your flows, right? So we'll be going through all those, but in case you forget, you don't have us around or you don't have this is another place you can go as your dashboard and then objectives. Okay, going down the list on the left, we'll come back to all these things on the top, but on the left, this is where your campaigns are going to be and your flows. We don't have any set up yet, so we'll skip to email templates. The whole point of the getting started, why we went through that and why that was so helpful, is it created 8 email templates for us in advance. And if you noticed on here, these are our color schemes. Our logo is already put in there, our header color, our links, right? Super helpful. I love this feature about Klaviyo, right? And then here's our social media icon. So a lot of the tedious nonsense is already built in. So you could, for all intents and purposes right now, go ahead, build an email and send it out that fast, right? From 10 minutes to launch, right? We just need to get an image in here. But these emails are pretty much ready to go. You've already got your unsubscribe blocks down here. Your organization address will get pulled in dynamically because we entered that. So all of this guy right here is ready to go, So I really like that about Klaviyo. All your links are in here. Super helpful. Okay, so let's move on. So we finished now the onboarding. We use our My Shopify address. Our email service provider, we know what that was. It's ActiveCampaign is what we're coming from. We now have set up the account. This is a helpful thing. You will not be able to send a campaign out until you have a credit card, so we'll be doing that later. Organization name we use, the social accounts we use. We do need a hero image, which is what we use the logo for. And in the email template, it will be helpful to have, for example, a snack email. That's what this is. So we'll add that to the images section here in a second. This is another example of an email template. Have some more images. Okay, all these templates are now consistent. It's just so cool. Really like that. With our color scheme. Right, we went through and put our font choices. Our list is uploaded, and now we move to the actual project. Now we're going to start setting up or move to phase 2. We're going to get our initial flows set up. Okay, so let's go back to Klaviyo. Oh, I'm sorry. I was taking you through the left-hand side. So that's where your campaigns, flows are, lists and segments. It sets up a whole bunch of segments already for you and lists, which we'll be working through, right? Your repeat buyers, all these So repeat buyers, it sets up for you. You notice there's already people in here. We didn't import a list, right? So where did they come from? This came from your integration with Shopify, your customers from your store that have accepted marketing. So as you can see, here's our newsletter list. Let's see who's in there. Me. It puts you in there. That's your main list that we'll be using to bring people into and who are not purchasers, right? So we'll have to create another one to get all the purchasers in. All right. And then also, if we go to profiles, you can see your people. There's 14,000 folks. You're like, well, wait a second. I only saw 140. Why? Because all of these folks came in through the Shopify integration. So they may not have accepted marketing, right? They may not have clicked that little checkbox. So Shopify is not going to, or Klaviyo is not going to show them unless they have accepted marketing, right? So let's try and see if we can see that accept marketing equals true, right? So that may be why we don't see them. Even though they're unsuppressed, they're not in any of our segments yet. So we're going to need to pull these folks in when we build our lists and segments. That's coming. So then here, analytics. Don't really use this as much. We use, instead of this, we go to the dashboard and use analytics a lot more. This is a newer version. And even now there's a newer version, custom reports. So that's an even newer version of all these metrics. Keep going down, integrations. We'll come back to integrations in a sec. There's a couple more we need to bring in. And one thing to keep in mind is it looks like there's only one. I always have to remember, click on all integrations. Frustrating little thing that they love to do. I would prefer it if it just had all of them and then the ones that were integrated was at the top. That would be a much cleaner implementation, but it's not that way. This is how we set up our data feeds. You notice as soon as we set up Shopify, it created our first data feed. This comes in super handy when we want to build our emails to send out and have our best-selling products at the top, right? You can have your popular products, random, trending products that are recently popular, and you can really go haywire with showing people products based on the category they selected. If they looked at shoes, you can show them hats, right? Because they're into accessories maybe, but you can do all that kind of fun stuff here. Coupons is where we can do things like dynamic coupon codes. So if you're big on not wanting the coupons to be, if you want to use one-time coupon codes, you can do that with Klaviyo. So instead of having a welcome 10 or 10% off where everyone gets the same one in your welcome series, you can create dynamic coupon codes using Klaviyo by uploading a list of 1,000, 2,000 coupon codes, and it'll dynamically, so it'll say welcome 10 dash 3472591, whatever it may be, and it'll insert them dynamically into wherever you want the coupon to be. So a really cool feature by Klaviyo, and this looks more complicated than it is, but it's not really that hard, and we'll make a video about how to do that. It's not that hard. And then this is where your sign-up forms live. So all the sign-up forms go here. As part of this setup, we're going to be setting up this code onto the site. So we'll go into the back end of Shopify. Another reason why we have Shopify open here is because we'll need to get back there in a sec. Preference pages, I'll tell you in 10 years of doing this, I don't use this very often. Some people do. If you really want to get into the nitty-gritty, this is kind of where you can set people to preferences. I don't do it that often. This is something I use a lot, though, is the images section. So sometimes it can be a pain to upload while you're in the middle of creating an email. So I like having all my creative assets here. These are logos, banners, images. So when I have images that I think I want to use in my emails, I just dump them here. It's nice and easy. You can drag and drop them or import them. And then tags. You can tag different things. Not a very well-known or well-used feature, but it's something we can use for us for sure. Whenever we make an email or a list or something, we tag it with Alea Systems, the agency, so that way we know what it is we've built. And some of the reports allow you to filter by tags so we can see what has been created by us. All right, so now let's move on to the next phase. So onboarding is complete. We're going to move to the email program. So we're going to go step by step. First things first, we're going to get our integrations done. And pause here. So these integrations are next. We finished the Shopify getting started already. So now we're going to get the theme integrated. And this is so that we can do our browse abandonment. So we'll go to sign up forms. Install code snippet. Yeah, so because we already set it up, it's already working. It shows green here. However, if you didn't have green, you would copy this. We go to the site, you go to Actions, Edit Code on the theme, theme.liquid, and you would find the area they tell you to put before the closing body tag. Right, so we'll Command F, body, and you would paste it in. But ours is already in, so you would just literally paste it just like that. Ours is already in, and we're going to look for this to make sure it's on the site. So the way to check that it's on the site is to go to your website, view page source, Command F, US 8 is what we were looking for, and there's our link there. Okay, so we now know it's working, and the theme code is set up. So we'll be able to put in browser bandwidth flow as well as get our sign up forms going. So we'll do that later. So now we need to work on the theme, getting the footer. So in the footer of the website is the sign up form. This is a little bit trickier, and this one we're gonna have to, each theme is a little bit different. So when I go to this theme, usually what you're looking for is the footer, and you want to enter the form action URL. And so in this site, and sometimes it can be challenging, right? So what I do in this one is show newsletter form. Usually it'll go to Shopify's email place where customer contact records are stored. Right now, I don't know where this is going, right? So you would have to consult the theme information, and every single theme is different. I've seen many of them. A lot of times what I'll do, I'll just turn it off. If I can't figure it out, I'll just turn the thing off because it's just such a hassle trying to figure this out. I'll turn it off and then have a flyout come in or embed my own form on the theme in the footer from Klaviyo directly. So this one, again, this is one of those, just going to leave it the way it is for now for this client. Okay, now syncing external ESP. If an integration, an ESP that has an integration, we would go here like MailChimp. They have a really great integration with MailChimp, but I don't believe, there's no active campaign. But if there was one like MailChimp, it'll then pull in all your users and it'll put them in the right place, whether they're suppressed, unsuppressed, even pull in some of the data, opens clicks, I believe, or at least going forward, you'll be able to see that data in both. So it syncs really well with MailChimp, but unfortunately this one does not have it, so we're just going to mark it complete. And then we're going to need a discount code for this account. So for the welcome series, welcome 10 is what we normally use. So let me check if there is one already. There is not. So we're going to create one. Discount code, which will be good for 10% off. Welcome 10% off. Good on all products. No minimum purchase for this. And you can limit it if you want. We'll try and do that. But what I found is this just leads to customer service complaints if people come through your welcome series and that you haven't dialed it in properly. So I like to leave it broad because honestly, if they come in, we should set our prices at such where a 10% coupon code is not going to hurt our margins. If it is going to hurt your margins, increase your price by 10%. Boom, done across the board. And that way you can offer. People love a discount. It's worth it. So let them use the discount. All right, so that's created successfully. Good. And if you have stamped.io, you'd want to integrate it at this point. By just going here to integrations, oops, I guess they don't have it. Nope, it would be the other way, probably from stamped. Okay, Facebook is what we're going to integrate next. That one's a little bit more challenging. So we're going to integrate by connecting. You'll be able to pull in lead ads if you do those directly and create custom audiences. Those are the two things we're going to do. Integrate and choose the account, which is Opulence MD Beauty. So we've got to accept the terms, which is okay with me. Oh, this is nice. They now have a link straight to it. In the past, you had to go hunt for this link, which is why we have some documentation available here in a sec in one of these right here. Integrating with Facebook, accepting the terms. It's in one of these. But there's documentation available to find this link again. And if not, I'll add it in there. Okay, so let's go back. Now that we've accepted it, it's interesting they have a link to it, but not a link back. We connect to it. And we're going to sync a list. Okay, so we just pick one. This is something you can also do later. I actually don't want to do this since we have not set up our audiences. I don't want to do this, but when you do, you would be creating a new audience essentially. And what I like to do is name them KL, so we know in Facebook which ones are from Klaviyo, and this would be newsletter. So we'll just set this up as a dummy for now. If you wanted to add another one, obviously you could add another one, but we're not. So we're going to continue to the page. Now, since I'm not the owner of the account, you must be an admin. I can't actually create this, and honestly, I don't want to right now because we don't do a lot of lead ads for this account, so we don't really need this right now. But just as something to keep in mind, you need to be admin in order to see it, so that's why I can't see this. Admin on the page. Okay. So where Facebook ads have been set up, our Facebook ad integration. And why do we set that up is because we want lists and segments that we're going to create soon to be connected over to Facebook so that we can advertise to people who may, a good strategy is people who have unsubscribed to your email list. They were interested enough to either buy from you or jump on your email list. However, they may have unsubscribed just because you were emailing too frequently or they didn't for whatever reason, but they like the product. So you still want to run ads to people who are unsubscribed and hit them in their Facebook feed or their Instagram feed. And so this will allow you to target those folks on Facebook and Instagram. Okay. It's one of our highest performing audiences, very profitable. Okay, so now we've finished the integrations. Integrations are set up. Let's move on to setting up the flows, the most powerful part of Klaviyo. Now you may be saying, well, we're going to do all this. I've heard you got to tweak all the different branches and the logic and all these different things. We're not going to get into that. What I love to tell people is just get started with the basics. Going to set up flows now. The most basic flows is all we're going to set up. We're going to turn them on manual just so we have them done, and we can move on to other things. We're not going to optimize right now because there's a lot going on with flows where you don't have enough data to know, 6, 12, 13 emails. You're going to have maybe 10, 20 people a day going through them at most, compared to a campaign where you may have 20,000 people in your list get the campaign all at once. That's a lot of data. But with flows, it takes some data to figure out, is this working, is this not working? Well, that's why we're just going to start with a basic set of flows, let it run for about 30 days, and then we'll have data to actually start to tweak. Should we change the subject line? Should we change the text? All these different things. So we're just going to turn them on for now. Okay, so the first thing, we're going to do the welcome series. And Klaviyo has made this so easy now, where you can just basically click it and turn it on. So here we are. Good news, we pre-built this flow so you can start making money fast. Let's go. Boom, here it is. This is what I like to do, is just come in here and don't get overwhelmed by everything. Again, we're just starting this, getting it going. They've already done the hard work of figuring out what the tough parts are. So the triggers and the trigger filters, all of that's built. So all you want to do here is turn it to manual, right? Turn it to manual. Make sure that you then go over here on the left-hand side, turn on UTM tracking. You do want that. You do not want smart sending. We want this to be to send almost transactional. We want people to get behavioral-based flows, not campaigns. So for what this will do is essentially, if you send a campaign yesterday and they got that, and then, oh wait, they abandoned a cart. Well, they were about to buy. You want them to get this abandoned cart, but if they've gotten an email recently from you, then they won't get this email. Right? We want them to get this email. So if you want to see what's in this email, you can click on preview. And as you can see, because we did that getting started, it's all dialed in for us. God, I love this, right? So simple, so easy. Okay, same with this one down here, preview. It's all set up, ready to go. Now, I chose manual instead of live. What manual is going to do is it's going to put people into waiting to be delivered. I don't necessarily want to turn it on just yet because I want to get through all of it first and then come back and turn them all on. But at least what this will do is it'll allow it to start populating. If you keep it in draft mode, people who abandon cart right now aren't going to be added to this. So you want to at least turn it to manual for all of these. And that way you can get through all of them and then come back and check them, and then you're good to go. Okay, so we're going to save and exit. Abandoned cart's done. Welcome series, let's get that going. When people get added to the newsletter list, continue. And we're going to go through and do the same thing. Set it to manual, turn on UTM tracking, and turn off smart sending. Go to the next one, put it to manual, on, off, manual, turn on UTM tracking, on, off smart sending. If you want to look at each one, go through and preview it real quick, and you notice, boom, there it is. Very basic, but again, we're just getting these populating. They're not actually going out yet. Okay, yep. Nice and simple. And yes, these aren't the greatest. However, they're enough, right? Just get started. You know, so this one, obviously, you would want to add more to it before you go, but thank goodness they set up this skeleton for us. So that's set up. Now we've got our welcome series and abandoned cart. Want our browse abandonment. Okay, so off, on, turn it to manual. That's really it, right? You want to take a look at it. Preview. There we go. It's going to dynamically populate whatever product they put in they were looking for. One of the most powerful features of Klaviyo. Most other email service providers cannot do that. Okay, we have our browse abandonment. So now you think about the journey of someone going through your store. They sign up for your email list. They just hit your site, and they didn't make it to your store yet. Maybe they made it to your store and they viewed a product. Now they get the browse abandoned. Oh, they chose one, added it to cart, but they didn't buy it. They get an abandoned cart. These are the 3 pre-purchase, pre-sale email flows that we use. Now, once they buy, here comes the customer thank you. Okay, if they purchased for the first time, yes, then they'll get this one. So you can configure this based on how many times they've purchased. That's all this branching logic is doing. Set that to manual, turn off smart sending, and turn on UTM tracking. Manual, on, off. All right, want to take a look. You can also click on the 3 dots here and preview. An easy way to make another one, if you want to do another one, just go ahead and clone it. All right, so our post-purchase for first-time purchasers and repeat purchasers is now set up. Save and exit. All right. So those are the core 4. We have one other. It looks like my suggestions are gone now. I've built them all. If you're wondering what's left to do, you can always go back to the dashboard if you remember and go back to objectives. Abandoned cart reminders. You can watch the video if you want or turn it on. When you turn these on, you can click them close, but we created the abandoned cart flow, the welcome series flow, right? And now we're going to go get more inspiration for some other flows. Now this looks intimidating, but I'll show you the ones we want. We're going to do a tag. We're going to enrich customer profiles. These ones are really cool because they allow you to just put more data for your contacts as they come in. So if they're a VIP, if they've ordered more than 3 times, you'll tag their record. This won't actually send any emails. So this one I love to just turn on because you're not going to hurt anything, right? So create a new property, VIP, right? when they join VIP customers. So we're going to create a segment that goes with VIP. And let's see if that's already created. I believe Klaviyo has set that up for us already. VIP, here it is. So we'll view the definition. So the placed order is greater than 5 over all time, and they're not suppressed. Right? You could always change this definition. See, there's 13 people already in there. See how easy they make it for us? But if we update definition, you could always say, I don't want to be so aggressive. Maybe it's 3 over all time, and they've spent over $150, or placed order value is what we need. Ordered product value. Difference between ordered product value and placed order. Placed order is the entire order. Ordered product is a product in an order. So if they ordered 3 items, you'd have 1 placed order with 3 ordered product. So ordered product value over all time greater than $150, let's say. Well, for this account, we'll put 300 over all time. Okay. Update the segment. Now we have even more instead of 13. So we've, instead of making it, more than 5 times, we have, over more than 3 or more than $150. So we get more people in there so we can send to more people. So in terms of our flows, now what will happen is this will run and start to tag these people. Now, this will go from now forward. Because we want this to be tagged on the current people that we have, we're going to need to use a term called back populating flow recipients. So let me get an example right now of someone who's in there and does not have it currently. So you can see before and after. So VIP customers, they're VIPs in this segment. Here's the segment that they're in. Properties, not too many properties, right? Whether or not they accept marketing, campaign that came in from, profile. Let's take a look, see if this will cooperate with us. And go and back populate flow recipients. Okay, so we'll give that a minute. And that's going to now start going and adding the property here under custom properties. Start to say VIP and true. So that's what we mean by enriching customer profiles. And so then in the future, if you wanted to create a profile property or a flow, you can actually trigger based on custom properties or tags, right? And say, if their VIP equals true, then send them these emails. Or if they ordered this product or ordered that product, or based on this tag. So we're going to continue finishing up the rest of these flows. Save and exit. The tag flows, the enrichment flows. Add some more. Tag contact profile, tag product category interest, create flow. I'm going to turn them on. If it's men's or if it's women's. Now, obviously, in this one, we would need to go in and choose. That didn't apply in this case, men's or women's, because we have no collection with men's or women's. But you would just go in and change the name to, if the collection has whatever name, tag it. This is the most important one, tag first purchase date. We want to be able to send an anniversary flow. So a year after they purchase, we want to send them a happy anniversary. In order to do that, you have to have this tag running in advance. So now that that's running, our flows are set up. Abandoned cart, welcome series, post-purchase, customer win-back, browse abandonment. Now we need the list cleaning. We did forget the sunset one. Tag first purchase date, product collection. Forgot that one, which is why it's great that we have this listed out. So, sunset unengaged subscribers. Here it is. We just do the standard one, very basic. Select a trigger, unengaged. See, so here we haven't set up the No, we have set up. The Klaviyo set one up, so if you don't want to go in and set up a custom unengaged segment, you can just use the unengaged segment that is already created. This will give you some more information about them, but luckily they've set it up for you already. So we're going to go to the flow. They make it so easy. Everything's so easy. This is great. And it's already set to manual, but smart sending needs to be changed. Turn that off. And turn on UTM tracking. This is a tag now. So once they get through this flow, they're going to get 2 emails. They're going to be set as tagged unengaged as true. Why that's important is because Klaviyo does not automatically suppress them and get them off your list. What happens is they will be tagged as unengaged. You can create a report, download them, upload them into your account, and delete them from your contact record, from your email list, so or suppress them. You wouldn't delete them, you'd suppress them. And so then they wouldn't be getting emails and you won't be getting charged for them. It's a great way to keep your list clean. Now, why is the sunset flow important? Sunset flow is important to keep your list healthy. And here's what you're going to be sending. You want to get aggressive. You can see we have plain text because plain text has a little bit better getting into the inbox. So we want to make sure we get it in there. Subject line's a little bit more aggressive. You want to say goodbye, tugging on those heartstrings, that emotion, really trying to get them to open. Right? Same thing, another plain text email. Not a lot of creative here. You can add an incentive if you want. But the goal of this is to get their attention, to get them to open. So you want to have a very aggressive subject line because they haven't been opening. Now, how do I know that? Because when I look at the listen segment definition, so we're going to go to unengaged subscribers, review the definition. So that means they've been on our list for at least 3 months. They've gotten at least 5 emails, and they haven't opened or clicked an email in 90 days. This is someone that doesn't want to hear from you, or it's a bot, or it's a spam account, spam bot, spam trap. It's not an email you want on your list that you're going to be paying for or sending emails to. It'll just hurt your reputation and sender score. So this is a good definition to start with. You may as well use it, and then you go in and turn them on. Okay. So we'll save and exit there. All right, flows are set up. We can move on. Now, email segments. Now we're going to build out our lists, right? So we have all these segments that we need to build out that are important to us. We'll make sure that they're good to go. Okay, first and foremost, we have our list. This is our list. We like to have a preview list for our clients here, which is the account holder, someone you need to get approval from before you send your email to the full email list. So your manager or the CEO, the owner, the client, everyone goes in here. So I've got a couple already. It helps to have them in here. I don't have them there, but I will add some folks now. Quick add. And you want to put their first name so you can test merge fields later on when we send out campaigns. You can also import list members from doing it this way. So it shows you here. I thought a space would do it, but probably need a comma. There we go. See how it's split it now? So this is an email. We're going to map the fields, and this is a first name. Okay, 2 out of 2 columns to import, 2 people. Boom. We're good to go. You can check to see how things went. Everything went. Nothing was skipped, which is good. So we got them in. Let's go back to our preview list. There we go. We got 3 folks on our preview list. These are the 3 people we want to see the emails. Might still be pulling in the Melissa at Alea Systems. Let's refresh. Oh, and even if it's not, we'll add it here. Sometimes it doesn't take, so we'll just add it again. And there we go. All right, so preview list is done. Okay. We're going to add our lists and tag them. So I love setting up lists properly. So this is a little bit out of order. I want certain segments here. There we go. These are the segments that we must have. So let's set them up and then we'll star them to show them on our dashboard. So let's make sure we have these. People who have never purchased. So it doesn't look like we have a segment for never purchased that comes with Klaviyo by default. So we'll create it real quick. So we're going to create a segment. Call it never purchased. Condition where someone is not done. Placed order. 0 times over all time, and we want to make sure that we want to be able to email them. We want to make sure they are not suppressed. I'm going to make a tag. This is for our agency here. Create new tag, LA Systems. Okay, so we created this tag. People who have never purchased. All right, 10,000 of them. You may be saying, where'd those people come from? We didn't import the list. We did not. However, we went over here to customers or people, right? So you'll have people here who are subscribed. They subscribed in the footer, but they didn't buy anything. These are subscribers that Klaviyo has had, or excuse me, that Shopify has, that were imported automatically when we created the integration. Okay, so that's another way to get people from that footer into here if they're signing up from the footer or from ActiveCampaign, right? ActiveCampaign was here, so it pulled them in. Thank goodness. All right, so let's finish up here. Never purchased, purchased one time. Let's see if we've got that. We do not. So we want one-time purchasers. And this is going to be a good one to sync over with Shopify. Excuse me, with Facebook. Purchase placed order. One time specifically. Equals 1 over all time, and it's not suppressed. Okay, now we want purchase, repeat purchasers. But someone is not done or not done, placed order greater than 1 overall time. Now, I forgot to add one key thing. We don't want this one. If they're suppressed or not. We want to delete that. For these purchase ones, these are going to be good for Facebook. So they're simply going to be if they purchase more than once. I'm going to create this segment because you're usually not going to focus on someone who's bought 1 time or 2 times or 3 times to send them an email. But on Facebook, it might be helpful to sync that over and build a lookalike of one-time purchasers or repeat purchasers. Okay, so this is going to go only to Facebook and for our metrics and attribution. Similarly, the one-time purchaser field. We're going to do that also. So remove that. The reason why is because we're going to have people who have unsubscribed in here as well. All right, so now we want an all subscribers list. Anyone who's not suppressed. Nice and simple one. I like the all caps this one. It's a great starting point because you have emails coming from everywhere, right? You have emails coming from pop-ups. You have emails coming from people who signed up and accept marketing. You have emails for people who are suppressed or not suppressed. You have emails coming in from integrations. So it's always hit or miss if they come into that newsletter segment or excuse me, newsletter list or somewhere else. So I like to just have a catch-all segment. And this also, sometimes you may have multiple lists. This is a segment that encapsulates all of them into one. So if someone is or is not on a list, person is not suppressed. Nice, simple one. No matter how they came in, boom, there we go. Look at that, 20,000 members. No matter how they came in, they are not suppressed. They are not marked as suppressed in Klaviyo, so they will show up here. Okay. And then we want one that is the exact opposite. People who are suppressed, because this is what I talked about before about syncing this to Facebook. Facebook only, do not use. We don't want our email marketers using this. Only our Facebook advertisers. No, we want person is suppressed. Okay, so because it's a new account, we don't have our suppression list set up. So it has nobody in it, but it will as we build out the account and people start unsubscribing, we start sending emails. Good. Now, one thing that I think is really cool to do is to star these so that on the dashboard they have this really cool feature where you can see your list and segments. You can see all these different lists and segments, right? But I like to use this as a way to observe my funnel, right? And we're going to set it up in a very specific way so we can go from top of funnel to bottom of funnel. Our goal is to get more VIP customers, right? But first they've got to buy before they can become VIP. They've got to repeat buy before they become VIP. They've got to repeat buy before they become VIP. They got to buy before they become repeat purchasers. And they actually have to sign up for the list before they can become a buyer. So let's go set that up. So we're going to take the list, all subscribers not suppressed. So this is our list. No, we want never purchased. People who are on our list who have never purchased, 10,000 of them, right? We do want all subscribers not suppressed. Then there's never purchased, which includes, so this is both purchased and not purchased. This is people who have never purchased. Then we want people who have purchased one time, repeat purchasers, and VIP purchasers. Okay. And then we're going to remove these others, win-back purchasers, potential purchasers. All right, so they're starred. So immediately we go over here to the dashboard, go to lists and segments. We can see we have a lot more in here now, which is really cool. And because of the way we named it, it already is flowing in the order that we want. So large group here, 20,000. A little bit smaller group, we have 10,000 here. We have 8,600 one-time purchasers, 1,700 repeat purchasers, and 292 VIPs. So as we go through, we can always come to this dashboard and see, are we improving these buckets? We want this bucket growing, this bucket growing, this bucket growing as we grow these two buckets up here. All right. So listen segments, set up, listen segments, starred. And in case it doesn't go in this order, sometimes the way you named it may be a little bit off. You just add the letter A or B or C or D or E, just so that way it sorts them in the right order. You can't control the sorting here is another feature that would be nice. So it's simply alphabetical. So if it's not sorting in the way you want, for example, never purchased pops down here. because you called this something else, buyers. Sometimes some people mess up and put buyers here. That'll pop up as the second one. Just add a little C in front of the name, or a little O or something, or rename it to this, and it'll be in the right order. Okay, we already integrated Facebook with Klaviyo, accepted the terms of service, and we integrated it. So now we want these segments to be synced with Facebook. So that's what we'll do next by going to manage segment for this guy. Settings, excuse me. And we're going to choose an audience to sync with. Never purchased Klaviyo list. Sync it. And boom, that should start going. It's been updated. Let's go back to the next one. And there we go. It's moving pretty quick today. This is another thing. If you haven't accepted the terms of service, somewhere here it will show you that. So it's another way to double, quadruple check that you've done it. This is for one-time purchasers. And again, as you can see, this is a great example of why we put KL in the name. Look at all these different things, right? So if I search for KL, oops, if I spell it right, I can easily pull up my Klaviyo audiences. Nice and simple. That's why we use that. Okay, this is updated dashboard. Now we need repeat purchasers. And the best part of doing this is that it's going to be constantly updating. As people are coming in, going out, suppressing, unsuppressing, you don't have to constantly upload a list, download a list, export it, import a list. It's just automatically doing it. That's the most beneficial part. To include your lookalike audiences. So that's the best part about this, is creating lookalike audiences with Facebook based off of custom audiences. Well, now your custom audiences are constantly being updated with fresh information, fresh data, which means that your lookalike audiences are being updated with fresh information. Okay. Now, I usually don't bother with the VIP customers unless there's a lot, because you need at least 1,000 usually. But we'll do it now for the sake of the video, showing you how to do it. Now, there's one audience that was not in our dashboard that we have to be careful to make sure we also include. Remember, we set up the suppressed subscribers. We want those guys also, so that we can send them ads. All right. So the one I can tell you I use the most often here is all subscribers not suppressed, and the suppressed subscribers. It's just, I find it to be the simplest and easiest to use, and it's a nice broad group, right? Suppressed subscribers and not suppressed subscribers. The repeat and one-time purchase, never purchased, these a lot of times tend to be much smaller audiences, so not big enough to use. All right, so let's check where we're at. We synced the dashboard segments with Facebook. Okay, So now we're going to import our subscribers from our ESP. So this is something we've already done. And I believe I have them in the link here for completed tasks. The window's open. All right, yeah, they are in here. Make sure list of email subscribers uploaded to the drive. Here's a link to the file on the drive. Okay, so we got them all here. Now we're going to import these into our newsletter list. Here we go. Now, if you notice something interesting, this is our newsletter list that's populated from our signups. It only has one person in it. Yet, over here, we've got all kinds of people. Because, again, these came in from the integration, not from any kind of pop-up form or sign-up forms. These were already living in Klaviyo. So what we're going to be doing now is actually uploading a list from the other account. So I want this account. I already went through the other account and downloaded from their other account, and I made sure to choose active people. You don't want to just download the entire list because, as you can tell, it's hard to see who's unsubscribed or subscribed. So I actually went in and picked people who had clicked on an email and actually opened email. So engaged. The goal is to get engaged people because you don't want to burn up your shared IP here on Klaviyo because you're on a shared IP. You don't want your first email to have a bunch of spam complaints because there's a bunch of people who didn't sign up. So we're going to import, or who had unsubscribed. You don't want to email a bunch of people who had unsubscribed in the other list and you're not sure who those people are. So we want people who have been opening and clicking. So we're going to upload a file by downloading this bad boy as a CSV file from Google Sheets. And once that's done, we're going to just drag it on over nice and easy. And then we're going to try and map as much data as possible. No need to be confused by this if it's not something that you think is going to be, or not that you think that is mappable. What it's saying is, I found this in your spreadsheet. What should I map it to in Klaviyo? I don't know. So here, we'll just uncheck it. Don't worry about it. You don't need to bring it in. So segment name was some kind of active campaign thing. We don't need it in Klaviyo. The email address we want. Boom, that's email, first name, last name. It found a match. This consent idea, I don't want to deal with that right now. We'll just store that info. The date created. Over here it looks like this is when they were added to the list with a date and timestamp. Yep, and that's it gives you a little sample data there. So we're going to go to consent timestamp. Here, boom, IP address. Don't have anything, so I'll just leave that alone. Nothing that I can see here that fits, so I'm going to leave that. Organization matched. Account people that don't know what that column is in Klaviyo, so we're going to leave it. Same with account ID. Title will stay. It found that. Let's see what source, if source is helpful in any way. I don't think we even have any sources in this document. Command or control down. No. Okay, so we'll mark that off. City we have, so I'll type this time to get there quickly. City, zip. It just wasn't able to match it, so we'll give it a hint. Click the zip. See if accepts marketing exists. Yep, there it is. Total spent. See if there's something related to this. I would love to pull in revenue. Looks like it doesn't have it, unfortunately. Okay. So we're pulling it in without that. This tags one might be interesting. As you can see over here in the spreadsheet, there's a lot of info, but I don't know how it's going to store that. So that might be a little challenging. We'll bring it into Shopify tags and see how that does. All right, so we'll review this import. 11 columns out of the 24 are going to be imported, and we're going to skip 13 of them. Makes sense? Start the import. And we'll let that ride. Let's check our Asana, see how we're doing. Okay, importing subscribers checked off. So segmentation complete. All right, we're trucking right along. Next, we're going to set up our email capture so that we can get emails into our list. So right now, this is going to continue. It's going to start importing all those subscribers, so we'll have people on our list, but that's still static. We have no way right now of getting emails from the website into Klaviyo. So that's what we're going to work on next, email capture. Okay, email capture. Email capture. We're setting up the pop-ups on the site. Let's begin. So we want to create the sign-up form. Let's go to sign-up forms. We already installed the code snippet, thank goodness, so that's ready to go. We're going to create something similar. Let's try and see if we can see in the client's current style the actual pop-up. Try and trigger it. If not, we'll just go to the app that's triggering it. Okay, it's not popping up. So we'll go to their Shopify backend. And I believe on this account it's Privy. Yeah, here's Privy. There we go. Let's get the active one. Newsletter sign up pop up. Here's the design. Nice and simple. Hey Lash Maven, sign up to receive. So we're going to build this. Nice, simple pop-up form. Oh, and there it is. Now it pops up. All right, so here we go. I'm going to take this little guy. And there's a couple different types you can make. You can have the pop-ups. You can have the fly-outs that fly out from the side. You have the embedded ones that go kind of like the footer form. All right, lots of different options. But we're going to do a pop-up. It's trying to get something as close to this one that already exists as possible. That's close. Here we go. I think we found it. We're going to subscribe them to our newsletter list. Okay. Oops. Leaving so soon. All right, so that font's off. I'm going to work on this. I'll be back in a second. All right, so worked on it a little bit. So you can see the font isn't the same. And that's because this is an app called Privy. They have a different set of capabilities than Klaviyo. So it had a font that is not available on Klaviyo. So it is one of the limitations. They've got this Brill fat face, but we don't have that here. So we try and get close. We do what we can. And if we need to, we'll go actually design something in Canva or something and slap an image above here that will say what we want it to say if the client really wants it. Then we'll grab the link For the button will be taking them back. So here's some things next, right? So next we need to work on some things. So we've got the look and feel that we want. Then a couple things you need to control, the behavior of this guy. So we don't want it to show up immediately. We're going to wait not until when the visitor exits, which is what this was set to. We want to do this, a little while after the page loads. I like to do it after 50% scrolling to make sure they actually are looking at the page or past halfway. So you can do 60%. Want to show it on desktop and mobile. We can show it again. If they've submitted, don't show it again for 90 days. I like to keep that one on. Or you can be more aggressive and have them constantly resubmit. If they're already a Klaviyo person, don't even bother showing it at all. You can set this to show on certain pages. So this is good if you want to use forms for more than just a newsletter pop-up. If you have a list of people who are going to a certain product, let's say a pre-sale, you can have a pop-up just for those folks. And then show it only on those certain URLs. Right, so lots of cool things you can do with the behaviors. We can change the color scheme, which we need to, because this is a different client now. Excuse me, because we had the colors from before, if you remember, for this specific client. So we want to keep it on brand. So let's go back to their brand color scheme. I believe it was this cool color. Here we go. It's the input field. Don't want that. Input field text. Where's the button? There we go. Click on the button. Button style, background, there. I like it. Okay, so we're almost done. So we now got this box looking how we want it to. They'll put their email in. We'll click sign up. Now we've got to check the success. So we can add the coupon code here if we want to. Remember we created the welcome 10 email or coupon code. Or we can remove this altogether. Check out to get $10 off. There we go. There, it looked weird a second, the font, but sometimes it does that. You just got to select them again. Boom. And now this guy is ready to publish. So we'll take it from draft to we'll take it to publish. And now it's live on the website. Now the problem with that is we may not be ready for it to be on the website. So sometimes, boom, there it is. See, it's live now, that fast. So you got to be careful when you do this, but I like that it works that fast. And it's cool because we don't need to go and put snippets of code for each form like we used to back in the day. Now you can just publish or unpublish, draft or not draft. Now, yeah, so that's off. When we're ready, we'll turn that back on. Okay, but it's live on the site, that easy. Okay, let's go back and continue. Finishing up, now we're cooking with gas. Okay, the sign up form is set up with our incentive, whether you have 10% off or whatever it is. We got our coupon code welcome 10. The incentive is set up. We're going to do this one in a second. The newsletter pop-up, we talked about that for this account. I'm not sure. We're going to have to consult with the client and the theme. But I believe that it's integrating with the contact records in Shopify, so that should be okay. Exit intent, we're not going to do now, but you saw how to do that when we set up the form. I'll show you again here. We would just go to the behaviors and set it to show when visitor is exiting the page. Publish changes. Draft, publish, publish. So we're draft. So if you wanted an exit intent, that's how you would do it. Oops. And if you wanted to have About Us page sign-up forms, you can add those in there too. Or if you have particular content upgrades. So if you wanted to have something on a blog post where you have a PDF, a guide or something like that, you can create these forms here as well. We're not setting in those up. The client doesn't need them. Now for this, which is set up for single opt-in, right now if someone signs up for the newsletter form, they're going to get a double opt-in. It's going to say, please go to your email address to confirm, which means they're not going to get the discount code email right away. So we need to email them, and this is a little frustrating. You've got to actually reach out to help and support in order to get that turned off. And it looks like since we have not put our card on file, we actually don't even have, oh, here it is, support's here. Support. Yeah, we're not paying customers yet. So it's one of the downsides of Klaviyo. The customer service leaves a lot to be desired. It's stressful, but here we go, contact us. They're getting better though. Right, and the account, just in case, I like to do this if there's any kind of account information, account number. Try and find that so that they have an easier time pulling it up. We want to make it easy for them to pull up our account, but will they make it easy for us? Aha, under API keys. Here we go. That's our account number. And be polite. Say thanks. All right, so that's off. So now our newsletter list will be single opt-in when they change it. Yeah, see, this is what will happen. It's annoying. So that's why we do this now in advance before we even really start using it. Okay, so that's email capture. Now email templates. We're going to have a whole nother training on email templates, so I'm going to leave that for now. But setting up your email campaigns, your first 8, you would be basically setting up your calendar. So all of these we would put a date next to, and that would allow us to show a calendar view and a timeline view here of when they're going to go out. And then we would start making them. So that's, see, here you go, right from the founder, bestseller, when those emails are going to go out. That's our goal, is to have a calendar built out into the future so that these emails are going out. It all starts with those templates though, and so we'll confirm that we have the templates. We do, so we'll use these to be the skeletons for our email campaigns that we make. So that's another training for another day.